Okay, we will start with the shloka as Guruji always started. So I just want you to close your eyes and listen carefully. We will discuss the meaning about this shloka. ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति न बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. I'm sure you must have heard this shloka many times. Guruji chants this shloka. So do you know the meaning of this, all of you? Okay, it's a very beautiful shloka, and why I shared this because I totally relate with this when I learnt this shloka. It says it is praying to all the higher energies. Let our ears listen to what that is auspicious. And while doing our sacrifices, yajna, that we do, let's our eyes see what is auspicious and good, the truth. And with our strong body and remembering the higher energy, let us do all that we can do to serve in that line. For only through this serving we will find happiness. So we pray to it says to Indra, Pusha. So we are praying to all these gods, whether it is Indra to give us the bless us with auspicious things. Then Pusha is Prithvi, the god of Prithvi, to be generous, to have grace on us, and Garud, who can destroy the evil, to be generous and to be graceful to us, and Brihaspati to always be to give us always the kalyan. I mean, he should do the kalyan for us. So Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So there are many things about this shloka that has driven me. First, see, look at the order in which they talk about. They start with ears, right? So whatever we hear should be good. So the things start from hearing. We learn, whatever we learn, it starts from hearing, right? And then you see the things and you experience it. And we assume that we should have, first they talk about sthir anga. So that is, you need to have a strong body before you start serving others. So if you break it into this part and understand the importance of what we follow in Nature Cure is actually in line with all these shlokas, right? So have you all gone through the slides? Or do you want me to share my screen if you have not gone through? I will.
Where this
I
slide?
went through.
It
Slide
was
is in the Moodle only.
Moodle only, it was there.
I could see only last fourth lecture only there.
No, after that there is fifth, but there is no video.
There was slides there. I mentioned last time, remember?
Click here, it will be there.
I don't find it actually.
It is there. So can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
This is fourth.
So, this is fifth. Is it?
No. Lecture 4 it is.
Fourth one. Okay. Wait, let me just see.
It's below lecture 4.
It is same picture it has got.
Just a minute.
In lecture 5.
So can you see it now? Can you see it?
Yes. Lecture 5.
Can you see the lecture 5? Okay. Okay. I will put it in the slideshow mode so that, okay. Can you see it now?
It's loading.
Okay. Is it visible?
Not yet. Let me check.
It's paused.
Still loading, it is saying.
Okay. Let me just share it in the original form only then. I was trying to get the whole screen. So it's okay. I'll share it this way.
Yeah.
Can you read this? Should I make it bigger for you guys?
Yeah, we can read it.
Okay. So we continue to talk about the role of food and in energy conservation. That is the vital economy. So this is a very beautiful thing. We discussed about this last time also in the fourth lecture, that how your food also affects your emotions. Do you remember? We discussed this with Sapna had a lot of questions on this. How your emotions are also controlled by the food that you eat. The thoughts are. So here it goes a little further ahead. It says, by wrong thoughts, we also get attracted to bad habits. So whatever your thoughts are, they manifest into your actions. And it can be bad habits also. So overeating of unhealthy foods, it induces indulgence in more sex. That is, then you are insensitive towards your partners. You are only looking at your lust and your satisfaction rather than respecting the other person and with the consent, right? So this creates a very unhealthy external environment. We all are outcomes of internal environment and external environment. So if we are overeating, the environment within us is also unhealthy, and similarly that will lead to an unhealthy environment around us, right? See, then second is dullness of brain. How does it work? Why do you think there is dullness of brain? Can anybody tell me about this?
Is it because of eating tamasic food?
Okay, but why there is dullness? How does this lead to dullness? Overeating or eating wrong foods?
Yes, overeating.
It
Because
consumes
heavy to digest
energy.
food will make them dull.
Pradnya?
It consumes more vital energy, and to digest that the tamasic food, it may take more vital energy, and that's why we feel down. System goes down.
Okay, one is lower energy, and second is, see, thoughts and ideas or creativity. What energy is it? Tell me. What kind of energy? It is an electric impulses. These are like energies that flow into the mind. Like neurons, they, as he says, that they are not really touching each other. There is a gap between it. There is a synapse that happens. There is a gap for the ideas or the energy to flow from one neuron to the other neuron, right? So the brain function depends upon these things. And when your body is filled with toxins or undigested food and low vital energy, obviously there will be dullness of the brain, right? So all this leads to even your brain capacity goes down because of this. And when that goes down, the clarity of mind is not there. We make wrong choices, right? So, use of low level expression in language, or drawn more towards the company of such people of low behaviors. So, what happens? Why everybody tries to find people who have similar interest? Isn't it? Because somewhere within yourself, you want to be accepted to yourself and to people around you. So if you are following a path which is not very conducive to your health, which does not sustain your health, you know about it, yet you're doing it. So you don't want to be among the healthy people because you can see the difference. And that is a constant reminder that you're on the wrong path. So you go towards those people who are already in this path where you don't feel ousted, or you feel okay, you feel more accepted amongst them, isn't it? So we tend to be drawn more towards the company of people with similar behaviors. So it's a very, very vicious cycle which takes you down and down, right? Now, how we can help
Sangha, Guruji always keeps talking about having the right kind of Sangha.
Sangat, yes.
Mm.
Sangat is very important. Even Narad, in Narad Bhakti Sutra, Narad also says this. It is like you have to be in the right ocean with the right wave. Otherwise, if you are in a bad company, is the worst thing that you can do in your life. It can destroy you completely. So you have to be in the right company. Sangat is very important. Who are the kind of people you spend your time with, relate with, get inspired by? So these things are very important. So supporting features that add values to sattvic eating habits to conserve expenditure of our vitality is improved digestion and assimilation. As we said, it just happens the other way. And better overall health is there. Such persons attract more good people around them, right? Inclination to include more healthy activities in life for the good of the world. So you go beyond from self-sustaining to service. But people who are in the wrong paths, they are only into the path of self-satisfaction, self-gratification, right? So, but when we are following a sattvic path, then we are able to move from self-sustaining towards service. You have raised your hand, Padmashri. You want to say something?
And that time for that slide, I wanted to also add my thoughts. Like it was so like we in midst of our life journey, we are shifting our whole lifestyle and everything. Fortunately, we found this path. I feel very fortunate, blessed kind of thing. So it is so important to make like this ship sail in the right direction with the sangat, the hand holding by mentors and the group who are trying to fit into this new regime and lifestyle.
Hmm.
It's very important to handhold each other so that we don't get demotivated. Even if
Yes,
it's the slightest thing, also, I think so. We should have the patience to guide them and
absolutely.
repeatedly, like a child keeps asking, why, and we
Yes,
have to keep telling them repeatedly.
absolutely.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
feel I feel that way. And this age of unlearning is very, very tough for people who have got the habits and like like we are mentally trying to shift it. But for like in my family, I cannot motivate after a certain extent because it has to come by then.
Yes. So it's a journey, it's an individual journey, Padmashri.
Mm,
So
mm,
we can inspire people by our example,
mm.
but we should not force them or do try,
Yes.
go out of the way to teach people, those who are
Mm,
not interested. That we should
mm,
definitely, this one thing I'm very, very cautious about. And I've seen changes happening
mm,
around me in the
mm,
extended families also, like
mm,
how people have really shifted, like they have stopped having this cooked breakfast, everybody has shifted
mm,
to fruit breakfast. So, and including, at least including a lot of salads, even if they are having cooked food, they are have starting with salads. So
mm.
all these things we have to inspire by example,
Yes.
right?
That is also one of the reason, like, even though my healing is taking a lot of time, I'm still determined and kind of, people, family, friends, everybody, why are you so stubborn? Why are you so stubborn? Kind of thing. I'll say,
Mm.
okay, what is the hurry for me? I don't have kind of, like I have to have a commitment or something where I have
True.
to cook, I have to run with the kids.
Yes.
I'm just in the I can do full day bhajan and sit also.
Yes. But
So,
there was one question in another class. Somebody asked me, like, why are we drawn towards our sense organ pleasures? That is also natural.
yes.
Okay, that is also given to us by nature. So
Mm,
prayas and shreyas,
yes.
you know. So how do we differentiate that? Because that is also not a natural thing. But
Mm,
why we are forcing ourselves from something which is coming naturally to something unnatural?
yeah.
So there are a lot of factors that we are drawn towards the sense gratification. So, like one of them is very important, as you said, the people who are surrounding you. What is the thoughts that are being talked about? How is the lifestyle of the people around you? So, there's very
Mm,
misleading education that teaches people that food is a source of energy. You're tired, eat food. Okay, you
yes.
eat food. Eat this,
Mm,
eat high protein. He eat that, right? But they
correct.
don't try to understand that tiredness or is not because of not eating food. It is because you have not had enough rest. You are
Correct.
overusing your vitality. You need to rest, regain your vitality, and then think about eating food when you are in high vitality,
Mm,
right? In
correct.
schools and colleges and all education systems, they are taught the wrong principles about calories. So many
Mm,
calories a woman needs to eat, so many calories a man should eat, right? So in my view, it is not even about men or women, it is about individual, because each person has a different lifestyle, different um, things that you do in the house, in your day, the whole day. So your intake will depend upon that. And more
correct.
than that, I also see that for me also, every day is different.
Mm.
It is not that I'm eating the same quantity or same things day in, day out. No, that also changes.
Some
So,
days you don't feel like eating at
yeah,
all.
yes. And sometimes you feel too much hungry,
Yeah.
right?
Like,
So,
I'm
we,
feeling that nowadays.
yeah, so
Couple of days.
all we have to do is to understand our body's indicators,
Mm,
our body's communication, listen to the body's communication and respond to it correctly, making right choices in the
correct.
specific path. That
Yeah,
should be the approach,
correct.
right?
That's how actually the existence of any living being kind of, even the animals, like no, only when they're hungry they go for hunting. Men also would have been the same way.
Yeah, and you rest when you are tired.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and the
So
thing is,
where
we start believing whatever is popular is truth. What the maximum people are following is the truth, but it is not so. We have to question everything and find the right path. When we say in the shloka that let our eyes see, that is auspicious, what is auspicious? That is truth.
mm,
What we should hear, what is truth? So try to go find the truth, go deeper into the truth and see the underlying truth, and then follow a path. We all are blessed with intelligence. It's just that we refuse to use that intelligence, and we just take whatever is served to us by in the form of knowledge or information instead of
mm,
questioning it,
correct.
right? So, as it said that, because it is the easy way, it is convenient. If somebody tells me this is good, just do it. Because thinking also needs, I'll have to change my ways. If I understand the truth, I'll have to change my ways. That's sacrifice.
Yes.
I don't want to make
Nobody.
sacrifices. Nobody wants to make
Yes.
sacrifices. We like easy
Yes.
life.
They don't want to go through the discomfort.
Yeah.
Um,
So we have to avoid following what is popular rather than question it and find our own path. Right? Even in Bhagavad Purana, it says that no man could be said to have conquered his senses if he has not conquered his sense of taste. I've always told you this. जिसने जीभ को साध लिया उसने जीवन को साध लिया. If you have managed to control your tongue in both ways, eating and speaking, you have conquered life. You've, right? You have conquered the path in life. So in Bhagavad Gita, this is a very interesting shlok where, just a minute, I think I wrote it somewhere. Yeah. So it says, ऊर्ध्व गच्छन्ति सत्वस्था मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जघन्य गुणवृत्तिस्था अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः. So it says that those who follow the path of goodness, they gradually go up. That is, they evolve to a higher planets. They say planets, but I would say planes, right? Those in the mode of passion, that is Rajasic, they live on the earthly planets because you are only attending to your sense gratification. And those in the abominable mode of ignorance, that is Tamasic, they go down to the hellish worlds. Now, when we talk about this, what thought comes to me? What are these higher planes or planets or middle planets or the lower planets? What do you understand by this? Because I give it a very different understanding. I think when you evolve as a person, you become more easily sustainable. It is sustainability that you are trying to achieve. Sattvic path leads to sustainability. It can sustain because you are economizing your vitality. You can sustain for a longer time. Rajasic is you're using your vitality in high intensity and you're limited to your sense gratification. So it will have a little lesser because you're prone to accidents, you're prone to diseases, you're prone to so many things. Isn't it? And Tamasic is where the path that gives you towards, you're not moving towards life, you're moving towards death, deterioration. It is
Okay,
totally
so Pragnya is having some issue with network. She's messaging. She
okay.
thinks you have some network issue, but I can hear you clearly. I think Pragnya has to check her internet.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Pradnya, we can.
Hello.
Yes.
We can
Yes,
hear
we
you.
can hear you.
Yeah, in between it's quite breaking voice. I couldn't hear you last 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. Your network has some issue because it was clear throughout.
Oh, mine is showing complete, I
Okay.
mean, good network as per the
Okay.
this.
Okay. Pradnya, we were just talking about like how the different paths that we take, whether it is a Sattvic or Rajasic or Tamasic, how it leads to different planes or planets according to this shloka. But I was talking about if we look at it as sustainability. People who follow the Sattvic path, they economize their vitality and they have more sustainable approach towards life. Right? But when you are spending time in sense gratification all the time, then it is filled with high intensity, lower vitality. Because you're using your vitality for sense gratification, which is not sustainable for very long time. You cannot live a life with very high intensity. Okay? Similarly, with Tamasic, it is a downward journey because in Tamasic, you are only not only about sense gratification, it is negative. Like either you're causing harm to yourself or you're causing harm to your environment around you. Right? So that is not at all sustainable. So nature will not support that kind of an approach. So as those people, you will never rise above. Okay, is this clear? Is this clear to you?
Last 2 lines, what you said?
I said, is it clear to you what I said?
La-
Huh?
Sometimes the signal will be showing full, but there will be issue with network.
Okay.
Hmm.
So this was the shloka which was mentioned in Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So he says Sattvic people keep rising their lives. Rajasic people do not raise in life. Tamasic people keep on falling down morally, physically, and spiritually. Is this clear?
Yes.
So factors that
What?
push. Yeah. I did not get your question. Can you please type your question in the chat box?
Hello.
Yeah, please ask your question again.
I said, what includes in tamasic way or tamasic way or tamasic lifestyle?
What is tamasic food? According to Gita, what is tamasic food?
I think
Which are excretion of other
food which is
animals, which is which is old food, stale food, okay, which is procured with violence, which is excreta or part of it is from other animals, like people have this gomutra and all these things. So we consider that tamasic. And foods which are stale, which are putrefied, which has got bad smell. And that is how you see that fermented foods, highly fermented foods, they are tamasic, old food, stale food, and even which are procured by violence, as I said.
oh, so that means all South Indian dishes are tamasic.
No, no.
And they
Oh,
ferment the rice and dal
please,
and then they
please
make
please
the
understand.
next.
Please, Pradnya, understand. There are levels of fermentation. Okay? Fermentation is a digesting process which happens in the stomach also. Okay, but when you the same batter, if you keep it for a longer time, if it smells bad, it is beyond the limit that you should be eating after that. When it is freshly fermented, it has got a nice smell, you can eat it. So check the food whether it is good or not through your sense organs, that is your sights, your smell, and your taste tells you whether the food is edible or not. Right? Use your own sensitivities, your power of intuition. Your body guides you what is good and what is not good. Now, these are this kind of dry fish that you get here that people eat. It's got a very bad smell. Even if the truck filled with that passes through you, you cannot stand the smell. So I really wonder, like, can we think of putting this thing which has got such a bad smell into my body? Right? Yeah, Pradna, you want to say something?
I said if we need atta and keep it in fridge preserves this fermentation process, no? That and we keep the vegetables also for week or for
See,
more
when
days
you
to keep
don't
it fresh.
when
So
you don't have an option, Pradnya, then these things are okay. But if you have an option to get fresh, it's always good to have fresh. Okay. But when we don't have an option, then it is okay. Okay.
I mean to say, is that also considered as a this you say tamasic food?
Yes, to some extent, because if do you think you can still plant that? It still has life in it, then it is okay. If it does not have life in it, you deep freeze it and then again thaw it and eat it, then it has got no value. See, fridge and freezer, they are two different things. In fridge, I'm just reducing the temperature to stop the decaying or the fermentation. But in deep freezer, it converts into ice. It also changes the structure of the whole, the water, everything, the water content in that and everything, it changes. You must have seen how a vegetable, if frozen and then thawed, so it changes its structure, isn't it? But if you are living in a country where you have no option, then that is okay, right? So I'm not saying it'll give you zero value. It will not. It will have some value. But if you have an option for a fresh food, go in for the fresher one. Okay. That is what I'm saying. Is it clear? Pradnya?
Voice is breaking. Yeah, hello. Your voice is breaking repeatedly. Should we rejoin?
Yeah, you may please rejoin.
Yes, you rejoin, Pragna.
Rejoin,
For us,
Pradnya.
the network is good.
Do it quickly.
Actually, this fried fish when you were telling, I remembered. I'm like born vegetarian, so sometimes they cook in the neighborhood or somebody. That smell doesn't go into the nose as much as it goes into the throat. Like it's so disturbing and annoying. It's like as if swallowing the smell, it just hits the brain. Like I'll be thinking, close the door, window, but still, I think so during the process. But after cooking, I don't get any smell for half an hour or something. It's like so horrible. And I don't know. Sometimes it smells so stale. I don't know if it is a fish or it's a non-veg. Sometimes I get that stale. Like, I think so. We know the smell of stale as a vegetarian because we get the periods, no? So we know like if we don't change the pad on time, we get a bad smell. So that
Yes.
kind of smell comes and it's so disturbing. I'll be thinking, my God. For somebody, it is tasty food, and for us, it's not.
See,
I
this is
think so.
such an
It's like how
interesting.
they're born and brought up.
Yeah, but
Is
see, even
that?
I was born in a non-vegetarian family. It's not that.
Uh,
But over the years, I have learned to be a vegetarian for past
mm,
20 years now. And
yes.
I have no regrets. I'm happy.
Yeah.
It's not
So,
that I'm drawn towards it. I don't even feel like having it.
true.
So by choice, I'm a vegetarian.
Yes, yes. My husband too, like the day he married and he got an okay, I'm marrying a Jain, better quit everything. So he stopped having non-veg since then.
But why is Pradnya not joining? Okay, see, this is so
Maybe
interesting.
network.
The factors that push us down in our life, in our intellectual status.
Correct.
So we
I
don't
was also
realize it.
thinking of that.
Yeah, so how it affects your mind in the negative way. First is eating too much of spicy foods. Because, I've seen spices make you eat without hunger.
Mm,
They make you eat more than you are hungry. As I always told you, my mother said, stop eating when you start relishing.
mm,
Because
that's very
when
nice.
you are not driven by hunger, you're driven by taste alone.
Mm.
Right? So, spices have that character to make you eat for taste more and more.
So
It
during nutrition class, like you only took for us, right? Guruji was mentioning like more than the dry chili, green chili is better.
Yes,
Mm.
anytime. So,
Because
eating
it's
without hunger is
fresh
a,
and life and everything. Okay.
then even eating food without chewing our food thoroughly,
Mm.
it also, because it also affects negatively. See, because one thing, you're not getting the value of the food, the complete value of the food. because you're not chewing it enough, right? Digestion will take a longer time because it assists in digestion, because digestion is already started in the mouth and you have partially digested the carbs in the mouth to some extent,
Yes.
and then finally it will be done in the small intestine, right?
Mm.
Or eating too often. That comes again, eating too often, as I said, it's a vicious cycle.
Yes.
When we keep eating foods which are not nourishing, now I don't mean the nourishing and cleansing foods, but foods which our body needs,
Mm.
the minerals, raw food, which only the raw foods and fruits can provide. If we are not eating that, then we will constantly feel hungry. Hunger is an indicator of deficiency of uh,
Nutrition.
minerals, nutrition,
Mm.
right? So we keep feeling hungry and keep feeding the body wrong things.
Yes.
Our stomach must be full, but our nourishment is still deficit. Right? And that is why we get into the habit of constantly eating. So if we make a right choice, eat the right things, you will not feel hungry often.
Mm. Mm.
Because body gets what it wants for
Yeah.
growth, sustenance, for
It's so different concept from like nowadays, like past 10, 20 years, I think so. From the West, it's come, no?
eat every
You
two
have to have
hours.
5 meals every 2 hours, eat something. Like,
Are you okay now? Can you listen clearly?
Yeah, I can hear now.
Okay,
Can
so
you come again?
yes, so we were talking about what are the factors that push us down in our life and our intellectual status. That is how your mind is affected by wrong habits. Which are these wrong habits? So that is eating too much of spicy foods, because spices have the characteristic of making you eat without hunger. So whenever you are eating spicy food, you will eat more than you are hungry, right? Because we are driven by taste. We eat more and more. And so eating without hunger is, again, it's hard on your digestive system. It is hard for your excretory system. You have piled too much of food in the body. It's too much of using your vitality even to get rid of it or digest it, right? And then eating without chewing our food thoroughly. In this, you're not getting the complete value of the food. When you eat fast, you're not chewing it, breaking it to smaller particles so that it has got more surface area, and the enzymes have got more access to the nutrients. They are not able to extract all the nutrients from the food, right? And because you are chewing less, you will also be eating more because you're just swallowing it. See, there is a direct connection between chewing and satiety. So if you are chewing for 12 to 13 minutes, you'll feel satiated. But if you just swallow your food and you keep eating, you will not have that satiety. I've seen people eating, heaps of rice and dal because they're not chewing, they're just gobbling it down. And eating, we were talking about eating too often. Again, this is a wrong thing. We have to give enough time between the meals. And why do we eat too often? Because we make wrong choices of the food. Because hunger is indicates deficiency in nutrients. And when we make wrong choices, we eat the food which does not have nutrients in it, we will keep feeling hungry constantly, right? So this is what we were talking about. Come to the next slide. So part 2 is Swadhin Swasthya Mahavidya Shlokas. We will go through it. रोगोऽप्यो मुक्तिमेन च यथा भवं यथेप्सितं वर्तितुं किं मया शक्यम् इति पृच्छन्ति तामसाः. See what happens once the tamasic people, when they are sick, they follow the path of.
Eating cooked food more.
Sorry, Pradnya?
I said eating more cooked food makes you more hungry.
Please come again.
Can you hear? Yeah.
Your voice is breaking. Please say it again.
Type your question.
I said eating cooked meals will make you more hungry, right?
We can't hear you.
It'll
It's
be
not clear. It's breaking. You type the question. Or
Are you
line
doing
also.
the phone? Are you on the phone or laptop?
Yeah. Phone.
Phone. Okay. Can you put it on the WhatsApp, please?
Phone.
Otherwise, just
I think I should put it
can you
off
change the
phone.
position because
Maybe move to a place where you can
uh,
get signal.
this approach towards health as disease and medicine. So this is the biggest mistake that we make, the people make. Pradna, can you listen? Can you hear what we say?
Maybe you can carry on with the lesson, Rachna ji, because they can watch in recording.
Okay. So when you look at this approach, you will always come back to the same old habits. So that is
Yes.
what Tamasic people usually do. So once you have found this path, we have to continue this till we are alive. Because this is not about curing a disease, it is about being healthy.
Yeah.
So,
Practicing healthy habits.
yes. So they will often ask that we go back to their old ways of living as soon as they get well and they started feeling better. They don't realize that was the cause of their disease,
Yeah.
right? And Tamasic people. So some people some have sense to ask, but mostly people do not ask, but go back to their old ways of eating without care of restriction. We are talking of people who come to our camps to live and learn a healthy lifestyle and benefit immensely by improving their health and simultaneously getting rid of their chronic diseases. Even though they see the vast improvement in their health, they do not see that it is necessary to keep up the same healthy lifestyle in order to keep up their health. Most of them do not ask the questions and go back to their old ways of living to get worse in health very soon. And then you blame the system. It's not written there, I'm saying it.
Yeah, no, because actually, as Guruji also mentioned, as you said just now, people want to resort to this natural way of healing or Ayurvedic or naturopathy in the last phase.
Stages of their disease. Yes.
So it's very difficult it's not that the system doesn't
As I
work,
give,
it's
see,
that
I
their
give you the
body doesn't
analogy.
take up
See,
that
I'd give you the
thing.
analogy of a river.
Mm,
See, we are like flowing rivers. Now, a river is a living
entity.
entity.
Mm,
It has got the power to cleanse itself, to rejuvenate, right? But if we put too much of toxins in the river, then it cannot cleanse itself. What happened with Ganga,
yes.
right? Or any other river. If you keep throwing all the trash, all the toxins, chemicals from the factories into the rivers, the river loses its power to, to cleanse itself and to rejuvenate. Same is the case with us. If we keep
Yes.
eating the wrong foods, then after certain limit, our body also loses the power to cleanse itself. Right? So it becomes a degenerative disease. We are moving towards degeneration, isn't it?
Yes.
So here, even Marco Polo has noted in his book when he came to India that the Brahmins here, they are long lived because of their abstemious eating. They have a lot of fastings constantly, Ekadashi and then Purnima, then whatever. So today it is not so, but Brahmins do not follow the old customs of their religious restrictions and adopt all kind of chronic diseases like any
Sattvic
other class.
food. They don't take
Yeah.
onion, garlic,
So
roots, and
this
all.
is just a reminder that they should follow their religious teachings of the scriptures. They are supposed to do Sandhya Vandanam 3 times prayers in a day, where instructions for doing pranayam, deep breathing exercise, exposing their bare body to sunlight, tying a wet towel to their waist for some time, and sipping small quantities of water, achman, several times, and chanting mantras for the world peace are also included. Right? So, but he has mentioned the people, the Brahmins who were doing all this, they lived for a long time. Similarly, there was this person from Italy, Luigi
And their
Cornaro.
IQ level also is high. They're
Yes,
very intelligent because of the kind of food they eat and the gap they leave between
yes.
food. Because
Clarity
I
of
remember, like they say, like if somebody is got good marks in school, uh, they suppose by chance if that kid is a Brahmin, they'll say, "Oh, no wonder it's intelligent." So they
yeah,
had that tag, for that. It's because of the lifestyle they were
lifestyle they
leading.
followed. Yeah. So
Yeah.
even from
You
Italy,
know what,
Sciapi
Rachana ji,
Cornaro.
they take a lot of milk products, Rachana ji.
Yeah. See, earlier it was
Mm,
different. Now it is different,
yes.
right?
Okay.
So in the next sloka, it is
Yeah.
about Luigi Cornaro. He was a Italian Venetian nobleman who actually attributed his exceptional longevity. He fell sick when he was in the middle age. Let me just check that we have. Yeah, he who became ridden with disease in middle age. He recovered by practice of abstemious eating of wholesome food and attained all-round health and strength of body and mind, as well as great longevity, and had recorded his experience in his book. So he lived up to 102 years, and he used to eat very small quantity of food. So he has written his book called The History of Temperance, or Discourses on the Sober Life. So you will find all the details in this book. And he recommends consume only enough to keep the body and soul together. I really like this
So that
what
little enough should be a nourished food, nourishment giving food, right?
both cleansing food and nourishing food, but in small quantity.
Small quantity.
Yes.
I mean to say that
So
it's very
just enough
important to
that you're, yeah,
balance it.
eating very small quantity of easily digestible food and avoiding rich, heavy foods.
Oily,
So,
all that
yes.
stuff.
Yeah. That's
Refined
what we
food.
talked about.
Can we go for a fruit fasting as well? For
Fruit,
multiple days.
fruit fasting is not fasting, it is fruit meal. Yeah, you can do that.
Only
I mean,
fruit
yeah, if
meal.
we say that we have to eat light and small quantity, in small quantity, in that way, we can put more load on digestive system by eating cooked food and all these things, right? So
Yes,
meanwhile, we can skip sometimes dinner, or we can skip sometimes lunch and have very
yes,
light food. Yeah,
of
something
course,
like that.
of course. So it is, that is what I said. It depends upon person to person, right? If you feel that you don't feel like eating or you can easily skip a meal, you should, right? And it definitely helps as you grow older. Your movements are reduced, right? It is not that you need less food, but your the whole system slows down a bit because you are not using the body. The body works on demand and supply.
Mhm.
So if you demand energy from the body, muscular activity, if you're doing, you will have muscles. If you're not doing, the muscle wasting will be there, right? So that is how the food should be also taken according to your activity, your work, how much you do you need, right? But don't starve yourself, definitely. But it is again a habit that we can create to eat less.
Mhm.
So 75% or 80% of your stomach full is enough, more than enough. You should always, that is the secret of a happy, healthy, and long life is always remain lit-
80%.
Eating.
always remain little hungry.
Yes. Eat only 60 to 80%.
You should always be little hungry. It happens so many times that I've had my meal and then everybody's having something after some time. He says, no, 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 you must try this, try this. Well, okay, but you had your food. I said, yeah, but I never eat so much that I'm filled to the brim. I have enough place to have something else if I want to, but I choose not to have. Right? So there is no doubt, whatever that the righteous eater wins all round health and great length of life. So we have to eat the right things and for the all round health, holistic health, and also for longevity, for a long life. This is the secret. आहार नियमान मर्तयो यद्यनादृत्य वर्तते स्वास्थ्येन सौमनस्येन ह्रियते नात्र संशयः. But if one disregards the rule of dietetic righteousness in his living, he loses both health of body and mind. There is no doubt about this. What we said in the earlier shlokas, the opposite of that. So some men who have inherited good physique are not visibly injured by eating or unwholesome foods in excess, but the ill effects are clearly to be seen in their children and grandchildren. Right? So you pass
Yeah,
on
people can
unhealthy.
digest anything, right?
Sorry?
Guruji also says, no, ki, wow, it's not about what you eat, it's about what you can digest.
Yes, exactly.
So,
That matters.
does it mean that some people are having capability to digest heavy foods, non-veg and all, still they don't feel ill?
See, that is the thing. Again, how much you are eating, quantity, in what combination you are eating, these things are important. If you
I
are
see
having,
people, no, they eat lot of non-veg, but still their females are very having good skin, or you can say no rashes or allergy or pitta prakriti. I mean very few we can see, but
but
most of the Dubai people and all this, no, they are non-veg eaters. Still, they are having good skin.
yeah, but do you know they're having only non-veg, or what about the other things that they're eating, fruits and vegetables also? We don't talk about that.
Yeah, they are eating that also,
Yeah,
but
so
I think
yeah,
they
so
are
it's not.
capable of digesting that food also, no? According to Gurji's that
The
proverb that.
digestion of the food depends upon lot of things, even your mental state, the rest that you take, right? The combinations of the food that you eat. And how do we know that they have no problems? They might have good skins, definitely. They must be exercising well. They must be doing a lot of other right things. We are only looking at one thing and saying this is the outcome of this. No. There are a lot of other things that they are doing right. Maybe that is the outcome of that. Right?
Yeah, true, true.
Like I was watching a Japanese documentary about the what they feed the kids. Like they train the kids from younger age, toddler age, how to eat the food, even though they spill. So they teach the kid to start off with greens.
Yes.
The kids will eat greens and the non-veg is eaten only in the last. Like the
Last.
fish, mostly it's a
All
fish
quantity.
they eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that kid eats by itself and enjoys while eating. So there less meat and more of other things. Like
Yeah.
80% of other things were there.
Even my niece's son, who is in Germany, in Berlin, so he goes to this school that's called Kita. So there, he's just 4 years old, but he can eat rocket leaves and all these leaves, everything raw, just like that. They don't even need a
Yeah.
dressing. They are taught to eat a lot of raw food. That is, they just serve them like this. They cut the carrots, they put the bell peppers, rocket leaves, cucumbers, everything is just put there, and children just eat like that. They start the
Yeah.
food, and even that is a snack for them. You go to somebody's house, they'll serve this as a snack. So it is
True.
so good. There's no salt, there's no lemon, it's just cut vegetables which are served as snacks. At the most, they might have some dips,
Mm.
right? And not even that, they'll just serve you this. You have this talk. So our Indian snacks are very different from.
Yeah, ours is all dried snacks.
Yeah. So,
Either
and
fried and
after eating
fried.
all this, even if they are eating non-veg, which is fresh, that will be rajasic. It will not be
Mm.
tamasic.
Mm. Yeah, fresh mostly. And they don't eat big quantity. They just eat a few pieces, even though
Exactly.
they are eating. Here it's like I see in some parties like more than the rice or whatever, the meat is more than the biryani.
So the dialectic righteousness is
Yes.
twofold, concerning the manner of eating and the nature of the wholesome food.
Mm.
So the reward of the former is conservation of vitality. That is the manner of eating, isn't it? So that helps you in conserve the vitality. The wholesome food includes foods that are not processed, and valuable parts of the food are not thrown away. They help us in keeping good health. Okay. Now, paryaptam pachane shaktim vikshayashinaat tatah param pavitavya taya shaktaya yavat syat pachan kriya. One should eat a meal only after observing the presence of sufficiency of power for digestion. Also, it is necessary that the power should continue to be available for digestion while that function is going on. That is until the digestion is completed. Are you both there?
Yes, I'm there,
So,
Rachana ji.
okay, we should give sufficient intervals between meals. If sometimes the previous meal is still hanging heavy in the stomach, we should wait until the stomach is empty for 1 hour before we start eating more, right? We will understand about more in the lectures ahead, how it is indicated by the body when you should eat. Okay. And if anyhow the power is cut off after eating, the digestion of the meal is made impossible. Of this, there can be no doubt. How do you think the power can be cut off for digestion after you have eaten food? How do you think the power can be cut off?
Yes, so it's vitality,
When you start doing some
energy.
physical work after eating food, then you are using
Ah,
vitality for work, not
work.
for digesting. Digestion itself is work.
Yes.
So we need to respect that and be restful, allow the body to finish this work which we have given it.
So I have a question. Like after eating, we generally like do the dishes, right? So that can be done.
That is not a heavy work.
Ah, okay.
See, but don't do a heavy physical work. You're
Hmm.
using too much of vitality.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to rest. Allow the body to digest the food.
Like how kids like after lunchtime they start running and playing, and
Yes.
office goers like they're back into work with tension.
Mhm.
So those and all will occupy the divert from the digestion.
Yes, even mental work also diverts the vitality.
Hmm.
And that is why it
Walking.
also. See,
Nowadays, they recommend brisk, like light walking after having food.
yes,
That too.
even here they call it Shat Paul. That is 100 steps. So after food, you should just saunter. I mean, uh, a leisurely walk. It should not be a brisk walk, but a leisurely walk. You can just walk in fresh air lightly to allow the food to digest and be restful in mind and body both. Right? But we don't say lie down. You should not lie down. You should be upright. Even if you're sitting, sit and just be calm, but allow the body to digest the food. That is important. Okay. Any questions on what we have talked about, Pradnya?
No, as such.
Okay.
I
So
just
I
wanted
am
you to elaborate more on the types of food, no? That sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. I want to understand it in little brief.
You have not attended the food chapter, the food lecturers on
I think
nutrition
nutrition and
I
nutrition course.
I think I missed it.
okay. No, no, not in this. It is in
A
okay.
different course.
Yeah, it's a different course where we go in detail, but still, then I'll send you the write-up. You can read it. Okay.
Okay, that will help.
Yeah, I'll definitely
Culinary
share.
and something, right? That was that
Vedic.
course name.
Yes.
Yes. So I have a thing like, does the baby in the womb use vitality for something?
Yes, of course.
So
Growth.
when the embryo, when the
It's
conception
formed. The
happened
vitality.
itself, the vitality is started.
Yeah, the moment the fertilization takes place, we told you, no, the vitality
Yes,
is fixed amount at the time of conception.
yes. Okay. So for growth, it will use vitality, and plus, if it's a cesarean, no vitality is lost. I think so.
No. Why?
It doesn't struggle to come out, no?
Yeah, that
Natural
is there.
birth, it has to fight
Yes.
and come out.
Yes.
It has to put full power.
Do you know the story of a butterfly of coming out from a pupa?
Yes, yes,
Right? It could never
yeah,
fly because somebody just split open the pupa
yeah,
to release it,
absolutely.
right? It has to
Mm,
struggle. It has so that the blood flows into the wings and they become
mm.
strong, and then it is able to make its flight, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So the same is the case with,
Same way, like definitely, no, the natural birth and the
yeah. So
artificial
there's
thing,
a lot of
they
things that
have their
happen with
own
it.
plus and
Yes,
minuses.
absolutely.
Mm,
Uh, I wanted to understand, like Guruji said, na, vitality is fixed. So, what things supports to this subject? Ki how we can conclude scientifically that vitality is a fixed amount that is given at the time of conception only.
Okay, now this time the time is over because it will take a very long time for me to again explain that. We talked about in the first lecture only.
Okay.
I think you missed the first lecture, Pradnya, right? But
Okay.
I'll definitely explain it to you again in the next lecture. Okay. So,
Fine.
so we'll do that.